scenic beauty of southeastern France is home to the Rhone Valley, a 150-mile vineyard region that begins south of Lyon and stretches towards Avignon and the Mediterranean Sea. Rugged mountains, the winding Rhone River, and fertile valleys are warmed by generous amounts of sunshine, then cooled by mistral and ocean winds blowing through the region. A wide range of wine styles such as aromatic whites, juicy rosés, and rich, deeply colored reds are found here, just waiting to be discovered by your customers. The region of Rhone Valley is both spacious and beautiful. It's the second largest quality wine producer in France, so you can expect an ocean of great wines to come from here, all at very reasonable price points. The numbers are staggering: thousands of producers, a few dozen different grape varieties grown, and over 2,000 years of experience producing wine. Over 1 million bottles of Rhone Valley wines are sold every day around the world, with the United States and England among the largest importers of these diverse, high-quality offerings. Today we'll focus primarily on the Cotes du Rhone and Cotes du Rhone village areas. Well over half the wines that are produced in this sun-drenched region will have these names on the labels. The name Cotes means the hills or the slopes of the Rhone, so that gives you an idea about how the land looks.
These wines may be found in nearly every retail store, and they comprise some of the best values and varietal characteristics anywhere. They're the foundation of quality wines in the Rhone Valley. White, rosé, and red wines are all found in these designations, with an emphasis on blended reds. Full-bursting rosés are the second most commonly produced, and roughly 10% are white wines, some of the most interesting and enjoyable wines to be found anywhere in the world.
So how do you get these incredible styles? Better yet, how do you share them with your customers? Let's start with the region first and see how the land, climate, and generations of experience combine to produce these wonderful wines. The region of Rhone Valley may be split into two distinct areas: the northern Rhone, just below Lyon, and the southern Rhone, which trails all the way down to the Mediterranean Sea. Wines from Cotes du Rhone and Cotes du Rhone village are mostly in the southern region, where 95% of the total production comes from. Wines labeled as Cotes du Rhone may come from 171 different communities, and they comprise about 48% of the total production in Rhone Valley. Wines designated as Cotes du Rhone village are a little more defined in quality, coming from 95 different villages, comprising about 12% of the total production. They're a little harder to find, but definitely worth exploring.
Then you have several named villages called crus and appellations or appellation wines. These are wines named after the village from which they come, and they represent the most specific tier of wine, smaller productions, since they are limited to just the vineyards in those little cities.
The climate of the Rhone Valley is generally warm and sunny and always influenced by what's around the vineyards. This can vary from village to village, even from vineyard to vineyard, as the slope of the land, winds from the ocean, or shadows of the mountains all have an impact. In general, there are two distinct climate zones which build up the diversity of the grapes and soils, providing something for everyone in terms of wine styles.
The microclimate of the southern Rhone, which is where most of these Cotes du Rhone wines come from, is very warm, with long days of sunshine and winds from both the land and the ocean creating a thermal effect in the vineyards. Rainfall is a little unpredictable here, varying between periods of drought, broken up by the occasional violent storms, which of course is a small price to pay for living near the Mediterranean Sea. Since southern Cotes du Rhone wines are closer to the equator, the sun shines warmly and leads to early ripening with slightly bigger, more full-bodied wines.
The northern Rhone is more continental, a little cooler with more predictable and regular rain. A cold, dry wind from the north is called la bise, which cleans the atmosphere and speeds up grape maturity. It also enhances the touch of acidity in the wines. Wonderful for food pairing. Harvest usually starts in mid-September and can run as long as 6 weeks in some years, since the microclimate determines variable ripening time in the vineyards and across different grape varieties.
There's variation in the topography too. The northern Rhone is known for steep slopes and terraced, step-like vineyards that encourage optimal use of the surface. Vines are planted in clay, rock, and granite soil, positioned to catch the angle of the sun. Navigating these steep slopes, which were first planted by the Greeks and the Romans thousands of years ago, can sometimes seem more like rappelling than harvesting. Long, winding Rhone River is a factor too, feeding the hillsides with rich mineral content, which imparts a flinty characteristic in some wines.
The southern Rhone vineyards are as diverse as their wines. Some are vast, flat plains, and some are in the rugged mountains or near the edge of the sea.
Now that we understand the region of Cotes du Rhone and how the climate and topography impacts the vineyards, let's focus on the grapes that come from this region. Rhone Valley is a region that loves to blend, especially in the Cotes du Rhone and the Cotes du Rhone Village. Northern regions tend to produce more single varietal grapes, such as Syrah and Viognier, but in the southern regions, where most of the Cotes du Rhone wines may be found, they absolutely love to blend.
Blending is the synergy of various attributes to create a perfectly balanced wine, which isn't always easy since perfect is subjective. Wine changes constantly in the bottle, which impacts how the tannins, acidity, fruit, and flavor are enjoyed depending on when you open it. 23 different varietals are approved for Cotes du Rhone and Cotes du Rhone Village wines, 15 red grapes and 8 white grapes.
Each of the many grapes grown has its own characteristics. We'll start with the whites. Some are lighter in body, some are heavier, some lean more towards highly acidic fruits like lemon and pineapple. Others have more of a honeydew and apricot flavor, lower in acidity and higher in body. Understanding the main grapes is the best way to confidently describe the Cotes du Rhone wines to your customers. Customers are always searching for new, different styles of wines to try. A good sign of first-class customer service is being able to offer them something they may not have experienced before. White wines from the Cotes du Rhone are always a good choice because they're unique, appealing flavors. The reason is the many different grapes they use, and blending encourages hundreds of tempting flavor combinations. Grenache Blanc is the primary grape in southern Rhone whites. With distinctive aromas of apple and pear touched with a hint of herbaceousness, it jumps right out of the glass. Originally from Spain and a variant of Grenache Noir, it produces rich, elegant, fruity wines with a touch of licorice flavors.
When combined with Claret Blanc, a late ripening grape believed to be introduced to France by the Romans, you're bringing in higher alcohol combined with powerful aromas of stone fruit and crisp citrusy notes.
These are two of the primary grapes in Cotes du Rhone wines. Unique, appealing flavors, the result of blending to come up with some incredible new combinations. Your customers will thank you for introducing them, and you'll be surprised at how quickly they come back for more.
Here are some other grapes found in the Cotes du Rhone, both white and red.
Bourg Blanc is a variety that is almost always used as part of a blend. Late ripening, it produces lively and light wines with notes of wildflowers and fresh fruit. It adds complexity, peach aromas, and freshness, complementing other varieties very nicely.
Marsanne produces well-structured, rich, and elegant wines. Its main aromas are hazelnut, fresh quince, and flowers. Roussanne is complementary grape that is often blended with Marsanne. Roussanne is more common in the south and produces elegant, less acidic wines, developing aromas of honeysuckle, melon, and pear.
Viognier is a highly aromatic grape that can be produced and bottled on its own in the north or part of a blend in the south. It's an incredibly fresh, pleasant wine with peach, apricot, and floral aromas. I absolutely love Viognier wines because these wonderful aromas can be enjoyed with so many different dishes. Secondary white grapes permitted in Cotes du Rhone wines are Picpoul and Uni Blanc.
The red grapes are even more diverse and some of the highest quality wines in the world. Red and lighter style rosé wines account for nearly 90% of all wines having Cotes du Rhone labels. These wines are fresh and lively when young, but the bold flavors and the firm tannins also contribute great aging potential. Here are some of the main red grapes to describe for your customers.
Originally from Spain, where it's called Garnacha, Grenache is found all over the south of France and is a major part of Cotes du Rhone wines. It's a fun grape to produce since it can produce either a soft, fruity wine or a powerful, meaty wine. Aromas of black cherries and peppery notes are some of the typical characteristics of a Grenache from Cotes du Rhone.
Syrah is originally from the northern Rhone Valley, where it's the only authorized red varietal. A fairly early ripening grape, it develops aromas of blackcurrant, violet, licorice, and spice. More mature wines show aromas of olive and leather. Syrah provides softness and expressive aromas, as well as a fruity characteristic to many of the deep-colored red wines.
Mourvedre is a late ripening grape that requires a lot of heat to ripen fully. It prefers deep limestone soils, which provides a regular supply of water. Naturally rich, full-bodied, Mourvedre helps ensure the aging potential of hearty red wines. When it's young, it shows aromas of black fruit, bay leaf, and earth with spices, leather, and truffle aromas developing over time.
Cinsault is a grape particularly well suited to hot, sunny weather. It's a delicate variety with fleshy, juicy berries, aromas of cranberry and pomegranate. Often blended in rosés and lighter red wines, it can also be used to soften the power and exuberance of Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre.
Carignan is also a Spanish grape, introduced to France in the 12th century. It's vigorous in flowering, late ripening, and grows best in poor soils where it really has to struggle to get nutrients. Underpinning the wine's acidity and structure, Carignan can be a great complement to the main varieties with earthy aromas, blackberries, and blueberries. It strongly contributes to a wine's freshness and tannin structure.
That's a lot of information.
It's a lot of great wine.
Hey, let's drink some wine here and talk about food pairings.
Cotes du Rhone wines are really fun and very easy to pair with food. Reds, whites, rosés, all those different grapes and blends just make pairing so easy. We could do a full day just on matching wine and food, but for now we'll stick to the basics. White wines with high acidity match well with seafood, sushi, creamy cheeses, and fruit dishes. Heavier bodied whites usually have lower acidity and higher notes of oak, making them more full-bodied. Really nice choices with white meats such as pork, chicken, or poultry. Red wines, softer and lighter bodied, usually have notes of earthiness, truffle, and barnyard flavors. so they go well with mushroom dishes, creamy sauces, vegetable dishes, pasta, and lasagna. Heavier bodied reds tend to have high tannin and solid oaky finishes, so look for steaks, burgers, duck, lamb, and hearty cheeses. All of these are really good choices with Cotes du Rhone. For rosé wines, there's a reason why they're so popular, because they pair with just about everything. So don't be shy about experimenting and recommending food pairings for your customers. They'll appreciate it, especially when you stick to general categories like pizza, steak, burgers, ham, and seafood. The more comfortable you can make the customer, the better they'll feel about your recommendations. Professional wine staff are always looking for ways to provide increased customer service, especially when it comes to making customers comfortable with new wines. One way to achieve that is by coming up with a consistent pattern when introducing wines, especially from regions where they may not be familiar. We use a simple method of describing the body of a wine, followed by 3 adjectives to illustrate the aromas and taste, and ending with a very simple food pairing, something people can relate to. These basic descriptions can tell a customer quite a bit about the wine, and it puts them completely at ease.
Here we have Belarus from Chapoutier, $15.99. A nice blend of Bourboulenc and Grenache Blanc. Nice and refreshing. Crisp, light, acidic, a little bit of lemon. Goes great with white pasta sauces or chicken or fish. Good value.
Les Dauphins, primarily Grenache, Syrah, some Cinsault, light-bodied, delicious, with pizza, pasta, shrimp, and creamy cheeses. Drink this all day.
This is La Brisson, a nice blend of primarily Grenache with Syrah, Cinsault, and Carignan added in. Medium bodied, good dark cherry, dark fruit flavors, goes nicely with stews or good cheese from France. Excellent value.
This is Cercius. This wine retails for $15.99, 85% Grenache, 15% Syrah, rich, full-flavored, bold, big blackberry, black cherry, a little bit of mocha flavors. Excellent with steak, burgers, anything with a lot of protein.
It takes just a tiny bit of practice, but if you keep in mind the pattern of body, 3 adjectives, and simple food pairings, you'll increase your confidence on the selling floor, as well as your service technique. Best of all, you'll be giving the customer a lot of information on the wine in a way they'll appreciate and understand.
Guigal Cotes du Rhone Rosé, $19.99. 70% Grenache, 20% Cinsault, 10% Syrah. Light to medium body, raspberry and red currant flavors. The fruit notes match well with turkey and chicken, as well as spicy choices like Thai food or Mexican dishes.
Charles Thomas Cotes du Rhone Rosé, $12.49. A blend of Grenache and Syrah. The clear juice soaks in the skins for just a few hours, just long enough to get that nice cherry color. Light-bodied, crisp raspberry, spice, and lavender aromas. It matches nicely with lasagna, pasta marinara, and pizza.
Charles Thomas Cotes du Rhone Red, $11.49. Similar blend as the rosé, but the juice spent a little longer soaking in the grape skins, making it fuller in body, showing ruby colors with cranberry, cherry, and spicy aromas. Pairs well with grilled meats, ham, and Mediterranean dishes.
Chateau de Segris, Cotes du Rhone, 1149. Medium-bodied with mushroom, truffle, plum, and very light earthy aromas. Wonderful with roasted duck, risotto, and beef stroganoff.
Famille Perrin Cotes du Rhone Reserve, 1149. A nice blend of Grenache and Syrah. Medium to heavy in body with blackcurrant, truffle, and blueberry flavors. A really good choice for pizza, grilled burgers, and ribs.
Chateau Beauchine, Cotes du Rhone Grand Reserve, 1399. A blend of Syrah, Mourvedre, Grenache, Carignan, and a touch of a grape called Marcelon. Heavy and bodied with black cherry, plum, and spicy currant flavors. Matches really nicely with lamb, barbecue, and rich dark chocolate.
Guigal Cotes du Rhone Red, 1999. 50% Syrah, 40% Grenache, 10% Mourvedre. 35-year-old vines, medium in body with spicy red fruits, cocoa, and mint. Pairs nicely with blackened chicken, sausages, and anything off the grill.
On behalf of all of us at Adventure Wine and all the good people and growers of Cotes du Rhone, thank you for joining us today. Take care.
À votre santé.